Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Wednesday, the 14th of February 2024, the year of 1 million transactions per second or more. Buy BSV.live, probably the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online, the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin. Right, let's jump into it today. So I've got at number one on the phone with me right now, who's been doing an absolutely fantastic job at reporting on the Copa case. So because I didn't get to see it today, because it was Valentine's Day, we're now going to find out all about it and see what he can remember. So do you have a pseudonym, number one, or do you want me to just refer to you as number one?
Whatever you like. I think everyone knows my name now, so you can call me Scott, you can call me number one. I don't know.
All right, we'll say the number one Scott man. You know, it's been awesome. So yeah, I heard Craig talk. Oh, I actually only heard a little bit today, where literally Craig revealed the message that he'd signed for Gavin when he did the first signing, which was Gavin's favourite number is 11, CSW. I was just like, oh, now we finally know what the message is, because Gavin had said previously that when he met Craig in London, he's just simply said he signed a message of my choosing. But we didn't, no, I don't think anybody knew what their message was. But we found out today, so I was just like, this is amazing. This is a little bit of Bitcoin history, you know. So, but that was literally all I got. So I'm hoping to find out the rest from yourself. So let's go. What can you tell us?
Regarding that message, I believe the first message actually failed, and this is what Copa was trying to say. Copa were trying to say, because it didn't hold and I think Craig actually even said this. He said, I realise what you're trying to get onto. You're trying to say by having CSW at the end, that would start some sort of program or something that could make it seem like I've sent. But he just sort of laughed it off, because of, you know, if they're going to laugh at him saying about conspiracy theories and things like that, of where he's been, you know, had corporate espionage against him, then I think he sort of flips that back on them to be like, well, you can't have it both ways. There can't be corporate espionage on the one side, but then corporate espionage not on the other. So I found that quite interesting. I think it was a difficult day for Craig today, especially with the BTC dev lawyer. And I think that was because he wasn't really expecting a tech debate. I feel like the tech debate that they've had so far with the Copa lawyer, he's just been smashing it. You know, he's so smart, so intelligent when it comes to the tech side, that they just make themselves look stupid, especially with their sort of like childlike questioning. Oh, did you do it this way? Yes. Did you do it that way? Yes. It just became really repetitive, and I think the audience sort of saw that, and it didn't look good for them. But the BTC dev lawyer, it was quite a bit of a refresh for them, because he was very technical. He was able to sort of really ask some questions that I just did not understand at all. I'll be completely honest. I was so glad that there was the community there to actually let me know what was happening with it, because it was really, really out of my comfort zone. But one thing I'd say, they sort of tried to catch him on little coding specifics. And initially I thought, he doesn't know what that is. But then I realized, well, what developer knows every single line of code that they write and can remember that code 15 years ago? Not many, even sort of savant like people. So it sort of dispelled my worries a little bit. And then obviously he then was going through the code and saying how the double equals, and the little lines that we saw on screen, which I believe were in code, they were OR. But yeah, it was a hard day for Craig. It was always expected on the last day, you know, the big guns were going to come out. But tomorrow we've got some live witness streams. There's 3 people, Mr. Yusuf, Mr. Jeffries, and I believe a Dr. Pang. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was Dr. Pang. So we should get more information tomorrow. Looks like Smiths now actually have to do something,
Ha.
because they've been very relaxed the entire time, doing some crosswork and Sudoku probably. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what tomorrow brings. And I think the worst for Craig is now over.
Wow. So if that's the worst for Craig, I mean, how do you think he got through it on a scale of 1 to 10? Battered and bruised, or sailed and cruised through it?
Um, I mean, I'm always trying to put myself in an impartial situation, because I
Mm.
want Craig to win. Obviously, I support BSV, but I'm trying to look at it through the eyes of someone who knows nothing about it.
Mm.
And I think the first 2 to 3 days, he absolutely obliterated the lawyer.
Mm.
Every single question, whether it be about the Grammarly enterprise watermarks, whether it be about the specific settings of Citrix,
Mm.
whether it be about the diagram being a searchable text. There was just all these great snippets of information that we just didn't know. And so it really sort of not stumped the lawyer, but it made them have to completely re-evaluate their way of approaching it. I feel like they probably came into it thinking Craig was stupid and he
Mm.
didn't know anything. And I think that was a short, sharp shock for them. So I'd definitely put the first 2 to 3 days down to Craig. But then as Copa changed their tactics, they tend to focus more on the personal side of Craig,
Mm.
i.e., the corporate espionage with Edgar Hansen, the changing of emails with McGregor. They tried to make him out like what, everybody's against you, are they? This guy's against you now, and this guy's against you. And Craig's like, well, this guy has a 30% interest stake in BTC. This guy is not an expert because he doesn't have the correct qualifications. It was just like an answer for everything, but it didn't seem like an excuse. It seemed like this is a genuine misrepresentation of the truth, and I can see how it can be represented, but all you have to do is do this and you'll find out. So it very much played off of all the documents, and I think that was a strong point for Copa, because if in the public perception, it's easy to go and check and test a technological answer, but
Mm.
you can't go and test to know if Aga Hansen entered a server room, or if Craig was unconscious when emails were being sent from an email address that he doesn't have access to.
Mm.
So these sort of things allow the public perception to be like, oh, I don't know about this, because it can't be proved. But that's the complexity of this case. It's not just as simple as here's the tech, right? Answer the tech, job done. It's very much, there's many layers to this. There's information coming from all over the place, from Norway, Climate Place, the McGregor, the Hoddernaut, there's
Mm.
all these different bits of information being sort of drawn together into a big spider web. So I feel like Copa did better in the last half of the week. I actually put it down. If I put it on a point scoring system, I said Craig won day 1, Craig won day 2, and Craig won day 3. Day 4, I put down as a draw.
Mm.
Day 5, I put down as a draw. Day 6, I had Copa winning, but then the two things that really stood out for me were, and this also stood out for me today, was the initial comments about how Craig had given very specific instructions to his solicitors and to his lawyers to do something on his behalf. I was like, wow, I wonder what that is going to be, because of this is they're very intent on trying to keep the privileged information out of the public gallery.
Yeah, I
And
noticed
that
that.
shows to me that they have something up their sleeve and they don't want the public to know about it. So that was that was a pretty big deal for me. And then the last point that he made, which stuck out to me, and he's also mentioned it again today, is when the Copa lawyer said, "So, can you provide cryptographic proof for the creation of the Genesis block?" And Craig had like a little cheeky grin on his face, and he went, "Cryptographic proof? No." And the way he said it alluded to, "I have proof, but not how you think, because I've been telling you for the longest time, Bitcoin isn't a cryptocurrency." So I think that sort of put me in more of like a 60-40 split rather than a Copa won it. But today, that switch up at the end with the BTC dev lawyer, I think it was a difficult day for Craig, but I always expected that. I always expected him to save, the best for last, so to speak. But I think he handled himself well. He was humble in his own intelligence. There was points when he said, I don't know, which for somebody who, knows an awful lot is quite a difficult thing to say. So yeah, I think overall I'm very happy with how he's done. I think this court case is probably the most positive court case he's had out of the lot of them so far, but it's not over yet. There is fire alarms going off. That scared me. Yeah, it's not over yet. We've still got, 3.5 weeks or so. We've got another 2 days tomorrow and Friday, and then we've got another 3 weeks. Plus, I don't know if timelines are going to be extended, but lawyers keep talking about, obviously, this new evidence that was brought in on day one with the Abacus emails, and obviously the Craig 11 document, which when we see it on screen now, certain parts have been redacted. So, yeah, I'm super excited for tomorrow. We've got first start of witnesses. Hopefully Shoe Smiths are going to start doing some things tomorrow as well and sort of earning their weight.
Yeah.
But,
I saw Dolores Cahill on the live feed today, and also Ruda Silva. Taking an interest. Have you managed to speak to them? I've seen you hobnobbing with some big names there, which has been really good.
Yeah, Dolores is a lovely lady. She's really in. I think sort of now that the COVID sort of lies past, she's really looking into BSV for its sort of data sovereignty, its ability to provide a new type of freedom that we've never experienced.
Yeah.
And I think what she's now doing is she's using her like-minded network of people to sort of bring them in on this new tech, bring them in on the real Bitcoin as it should have been in the white paper. And so, yeah, I'm super excited for this. I know she's had lots of meetings with lots of different people. She's really open to networking with everyone.
Wow.
And she just wants to help in any way she can. She's very much into the law side of things. And so she's super interested on the law side of this.
Right,
so,
brilliant.
Yeah, very, very interesting woman. Rui Silva, I've spoken to him a couple of times. We've just had general chit-chat discussions, not any major in-depth discussions, just no different to discussions I would have with maybe Norbert or Robin Nakamoto, who's there, just friendly chats. But no, everyone down there has been super positive.
Brilliant.
I was expecting a war. I was, going to put my helmet on there and fight my way through the BTC maxis, but it's actually been okay. Everyone's been respectful and polite, so I can't fault them as humans. I can obviously fault their belief systems, but I can't fault them as humans.
Did you have a word with Hodlenor when he was down there?
I didn't. It was quite funny because he was almost like a little celebrity for the BTC maxis. So they had their little group, and they were all sort of grouped together on the Bird and Bird side, and then obviously there were a few BSVs on the other side. I saw some. What I did find quite interesting I don't, whether or not this was just not picked up by the judge or whether it was a conscious decision, I can't comment on that. But there was a lot of sort of scoffs, so to speak, like, when certain answers were given, and it was loud enough that I could hear it, and I was on the other side. So I'm thinking, wonder if the judge is going to do something about this. But no, he had issue with Dolores nodding her head when Craig was answering questions.
Oh, really? Did he? What did he say? Because I didn't see it. What did he say?
So yesterday, Dolores was nodding when Craig was saying about sort of keys on identity. If I take your house key, do I own your house? No,
Yeah.
I might be able to enter your house and use all the things in there, but I'm still not the owner. And so she was just like, really nodding about this, really in agreement. And the judge was like, excuse, can we just stop there a second? The lady at the back nodding vigorously. If you do not stop, I will have to kick you out of the court. And so she just was a bit quiet and she didn't want to jeopardize Craig's case or didn't want to cause any disruption or make it about her. So she just she just continued, not nodding, but just continued observing the case.
That's
So
hilarious.
I found that quite interesting. But yeah, I don't know, it was like a little celebrity down there with the BTC maxis, and I found that quite funny. I didn't speak to him personally. I've spoken to him on Twitter, but I'm quite a I don't like to cause confrontation on Twitter. If people are just going to abuse me, I try to disarm them with kindness. So if someone wants to call me, F, S, whatever the words they want to call me, I'm going to go, well, thank you for that opinion. It's a shame you have that opinion of me, but, I appreciate it. So it's, I messaged something about, he put a post up and I said, look, I can understand why you dislike Craig. I fully can understand that. But it's bigger than you. It's about the world. It's not just about you. So, yeah, he seemed to respect that. But no, so with personal issues with anyone, I've had no personal problems with anyone down there. Everyone's polite. It seems like the cover of Twitter allows people to become emboldened. So, yeah, everything's been pretty good.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. My tactic of dealing with trolls, because I know they're either nefarious, they're paid, or just completely ridiculously dumb. I just hit him with a meme and then block, get the last punch in, as it were. I've got no time. I've got no time for them whatsoever.
I was okay with the trolls at first. Like, I like to put myself in those situations so I can get a contrasting point of view. But
Yeah.
where I've got to at the moment is, if you're not going to add anything of value, like as a British person, I love a bit of banter.
Yeah.
If you call me a rude name, but it's in a funny way, I'm like, fair play, that was funny. I'll be the butt of a joke when it's funny. But when people are just like, you're an effing idiot, you're a this, you're a that, I'm just like, dude, what are you trying to achieve here? Are you trying to save me? Are you trying to, embarrass me? What's going on here? And especially when these people are like, oh, you don't know anything. And I'm like, oh, brilliant. If I don't know anything, can you sit next to me in court and tell me what's going on? Oh, you're not in court. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Clearly you know more than me. And it's just quite funny seeing how the people reacted. So I went on a little block spree yesterday, blocked about 20 people, but I've had a couple of BTCers comment saying, please, I love your streams. I'm not going to be abusive. Please don't block me. I'm like, I'm never going to block contrasting opinions. I'm just going to block abusive people because I just don't have time for it. I need to concentrate on the trial.
Yeah.
I need to provide information, not just for BSVers, but for the world, whatever their opinion be. So
yeah, your reporting, I think, I would say that your reporting is you're like the number one reporter down there at the moment. It would seem like
that's
prolific.
Kind of you. I appreciate that.
Mate, I don't think there's anyone else working as hard as you reporting on the case or doing as good a job as you are. It's been awesome. So I take my hat off to you on that one. It's been fantastic and really enjoyable.
I appreciate that. That's very kind. Yeah, I didn't. I never sort of. I sort of fell into this role really. I was going to come down here for maybe a weekend, and then everyone was like, "Oh, let me donate something. I'll chuck you a Bitcoin. I'll do this." And I was like, "Oh, I don't really want to take donations, but let's see where it goes. Maybe it'll pay for the trip." And then within about 24 hours, there was like $300-400, and I was like, "Oh, crap." All right, I need to maybe take this a little bit more serious. And so I was like,
Awesome.
okay, I got the money, I can extend it, and then the donations went crazy, and I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to commit to this. I
Oh,
took time off work, made sure I had no other prior engagements, and I was like, I'm doing the full 5 weeks. There's
oh,
too many
brilliant.
people donating. There's too many people commenting saying thank you.
Mm.
I really appreciate everything you're doing, and I've been massively gassed up. I'm surprised I can walk around with this massive head of mine at the moment. So um, yeah, it's been really good, and I'm just happy that I can be a part of the history in some way. I'm happy I can provide as best information as I can to people, and yeah, I've never felt the BSC community more than I have doing this trip. People say there's not a community; they are 100% wrong. We've got the spaces running practically 24 hours a day.
Yeah, yeah.
We've got all these like internet sleuths sort of looking into all the
Yeah.
information, and I just love it. It's like the hive mind working together in perfect harmony, and it's a really beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, shout out to Crypto Tweaks for being one of the internet sleuths finding out all this information for us. It's been
Yeah,
it's been awesome. So today was there when I mean because I didn't see it. When did the BTC dev lawyer stand up and take the cross examination?
right at the end,
Was it
right
okay?
at the end. Yeah, so the Jonathan Horton, the Copa lawyer, he sort of made a little joke with the judge. I believe it was before the last break, so I
Mm,
believe it was like at 3 o'clock maybe.
yeah.
And he said, or maybe it was just after lunch. I can't remember, but he said, I think it's an appropriate time to stop for lunch. I do have 15 more minutes that I need to go through, but maybe we should stop here. And then when they did stop, um, when they did stop, um, he went on for another 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and then I believe the BTC dev came in about an hour from the end, and it was just like I was not expecting him to come in the way he did. Fair play to him for how he approached it and his technical prowess.
Mm,
It was very good. I think Craig did hold himself. There was a few little things which, as a chief scientist, you're like the architecture of the creation. You're not the bricks and mortar. You're not the builder.
mm,
So I feel like his coding knowledge may be a little bit rusty. As he said, he hasn't done C++ since 2017. So even for him to come out with as much information as he did on that, I was like, wow, I can barely remember what I had for dinner last week, let alone how to code in C++ from 2017. So
yeah.
it wasn't all doom and gloom. But yeah, they did well, but I always expected that on the last day. So now we're moving on. The cross examination is finished. There
Wow.
may be an additional cross examination later on,
Mm,
um, a day or two, possibly at the end.
right. Are you still there? Oh, looks like. Oh, there we go.
Presented to Craig.
I think your signal's just dropping out, mate.
Oh,
Can.
can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, a little bit crackly, but that's good.
But yeah, I think it went as best as he could under the circumstances, and with the fact that he just couldn't remember certain things from years ago.
Mm,
And it was just nice to have a different style of questioning. It wasn't like this naughty child to be caught out by asking the same question 5 times. It was
mm.
like an adult speaking a technical adult speaking to a technical adult in a weird way. It almost was like the BTC devs may not have liked Craig, but I felt there was an element of respect there for his technical ability. So he was treating him with the same sort of technical ability back. Maybe I'm misinterpreting that, but the respect from Jonathan Horton was zero, and the way BTC deadlock harder questions for Craig.
All right, but did Craig look like he was reveling in it? I mean, did he enjoy sort of having slightly tougher questions answered at him? I mean, just like refreshing, just rather than going over the same old questions like, oh, you did this, didn't you? No. Let me explain. Blah 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 blah. Did he look as though he was enjoying the challenge?
Yeah, Craig gets excited by tech. He really does. You can see the energy rising in. It doesn't matter if it's 30 degrees heat and we're at, the last half hour. When you talk about tech, that's when he's in his element.
Oh, brilliant.
The thing I found with the BTC lawyer was that some of the questions he was asking were like, from the foundation of Bitcoin. And so because he sort of like moved on almost from that, I feel like it was difficult for him to remember because of he's probably changed everything in his mind to BSV and how to make BSV be the true Bitcoin as it was intended in the white paper. So I feel like what they were questioning him on as Satoshi Nakamoto, but that's such a long time ago. And he's had to deal with so much within that period. The fact he got the amount of answers out he did, I found impressive. Even if I do honestly have to say, I feel like Copa just edged it today. I still found his questioning was very impressive. The way the people are presenting it, the BTC Max is, Craig was slaughtered. Oh yeah, it's not. He wasn't slaughtered. There's never been a slaughtering, not on Craig's side and not on BTC's side. It's been a very almost fair battle, so to speak. But this is the worst time for Craig. This is the cross-examination where they hit him with all the weapons, all the bullets that they've got. So I can only see it getting better from here. I think the expert cross-examination, that's going to be juicy, because that's like two mega minds going against each other. So there could be a lot of ego, could be a lot of could be some fire happening. But I'd just like to compliment the judge as well. Judge seems like he's very technically proficient. He knows what he's talking about. He understands a lot of what is being said, when I'm just like, I hope these words make sense to everybody. So it's all round, I think it's been a good week. I think Craig, I've not seen a day where he looks nervous or worried. And he seems to be coping well.
From what I heard of Craig in other cases prior to the Kleinman case, like Kurt was just like, oh my god, listening to him is just like one massive cringe fest. And I think Kurt actually said that when the Kleinman case started, that's precisely what he was expecting, like one massive cringe fest, with like Craig effing and blinding and flicking the finger at the judge and all this kind of stuff. And he said that didn't happen. And from what I've seen here, Craig has been extremely constructive and very positive with his language, explaining things very clearly, turning to the judge and say, no, this is not the way it happened, this is the way it happened, and that happened, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's been phenomenal, considering he's genuinely Asperger's, and, the change in him from the speech he did in Rwanda back in 2018 to compared to how he is now is completely different. Literally a new person, and so much better. It's remarkable to watch, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think that can be attributed to two things. I think that can be contributed to the fact he got contempt of court, and had to do anger management because of it. He says that's made him a better person,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's allowed him to control his anger. Because when you hear the interview of the BBC did or the Guardian, I can't remember which one it is, where he's like, F off,
Yeah.
going absolutely crazy at this guy. That was raw emotion. You could tell he is on the verge of hitting someone. And the only time I've ever seen him get a little bit riled up is about basically trying to say, like, well, why don't you sign the keys? Because it's probably something he's heard so many
Yeah.
times,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's had to explain himself so many times that it's just like, ah. So he got a little riled up then. There was also a little bit which I think is going to be a really I'm surprised there's not more memes about it, which was like, I'm just the I'm just the computer guy who set up the entirety of the Vodafone mobile network. I'm just the computer guy who set up Latatas Casino. I'm just the computer guy. Like, it was really funny, but I could tell control his emotion. He was being a bit cocky and a bit like, yeah, this is my achievement. So if I'm just a computer guy, then name another computer guy who's got all these achievements. And I was thinking, oh, please calm down a little bit, don't go too much. And he did. He brought that down to a nice level, and yeah, it seemed fairly good. So I can't fault him on his anger management. I think the management he's done has been really well. I think the breaks that the quarters have put in to help with his Asperger's, I think, has been an absolute lifeline for him.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if the Australian reporter did he did nearly jeopardise it by saying I'm in the elevator, and they asked, "Ah, are you okay?" And he's like, "Well, I thought it'd be a bit more stressful than this." He said he was just trying to be polite. He wasn't trying to give an interview or anything whilst on the stand. And I think the judge fully understood that. He didn't think there was any nefarious processes going on. So yeah, he's been very calm, very collected. I say good morning to him every morning. I get a picture as he comes in.
Oh, great.
He's been very polite, courteous, and it's just been a pleasure. It really has been a pleasure, to be honest with you. I just feel very lucky that I'm witnessing this moment in history, and it's not a moment that I have to, be like, oh God, so this was really bad, and this, I'm not cringing. There's been a couple of cringe moments, but I'm not genuine. I'm enjoying it, and I'm super positive.
Wow.
And it's just reinforcing the idea that he is the more every day. I'm like, find me another person who knows this amount of information. Like, go get Luke Dash Jr. and put him on the stand. Go get Greg Maxwell. Go get Adam Back. Let's see if they could answer this absolute intense questioning as effectively as Craig could, because I don't think there's another man in the world that could, and that's what leads me to he is Satoshi Nakamoto. If he's not Satoshi Nakamoto, then he was working every single day with Satoshi, studying absolutely everything Satoshi knew. And I don't see Dave Kleiman as the type that could do that, and I don't see other people that he's openly admitted to being helped by, but not the instrumental figurehead. So yeah, win, lose or draw, I still will support BSV because it works, it's fast and cheap, and I'll still support Craig because of it. The man's been through enough. And the people keep calling him a scammer. I just say, well, where's the victims? Where are all these victims? Where's the SEC investigations?
Yeah.
Because Coinbase have that, Kraken have that. All these current freedom fighters fighting the power that being Craig, they're all under investigation by governments.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, he's a scammer, and I use inverted commas. So yeah, I think it's been going really well. He's been doing really well. Can't fault him, and I think this is the best trial he's done so far. And also, just to add as well, they're not really bringing much new evidence to the plate. They're just rehashing old. It's like they've taken the best nuggets from all the different cases and added them all together.
Hmm.
And I just, he's won three of the cases and arguably lost one. So it depends who you speak to. If you speak to Calvin Ayre, he's lost none. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think the witness testimonies, the expert testimonies, because if the expert, Judge Mellor has in the past thrown out expert evidence because it wasn't expert. So if these witnesses, these expert witnesses, come on to the stand and they're absolutely chewed up and spat out by a shoesmith's lawyer, a lot of this information is gone. A lot of this sort of metadata and Grammarly watermarks and all these things, they're thrown out. They're not valid testimony. They're not valid evidence anymore. So yeah, it's very interesting to see how they're playing it. But like I said, Shoesmiths are super relaxed, super chilled, and so is Craig. So it leads me to believe they've got a rabbit. They've got a rabbit in the hat that they're going to pull out somewhere.
Wow. Looking forward to that then. My goodness. That sounds awesome. Right, well, Scott, we've been we've been chatting for 35 minutes. Where has the time gone? Time flies when you're having fun. This has been absolutely awesome. There, just stay on the line. I'll just wrap it up for everyone listening here. We can have a little bit of a chat later on. So for everyone listening, remember the largest court case in financial history continues tomorrow. Now the cross-examination is finished. We're in for some really juicy bits, as we've just heard from Scott. Scott is at one on Twitter, or that's now X, doing these reports literally in there from morning till evening. And he says he's been chatting to Craig. So follow him there, give him a donation if you want, and we'll catch up again soon. Catch you guys later, and until then, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.